I believe that the evidence shows that she didn't hit him.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear the thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Hello and a warm welcome to True Crime Rocket Science from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Come 10 a.m. Monday, that's this morning, Norfolk Superior Court Judge Beverly Cannoni said that she's going to give the prosecution and defense 45 minutes each for their opening statements. Do you think that's fair? I've seen entire court days taken up with opening statements. My sense is that this is targeted more to the defense, who seem to have a very elaborate tale that they want to tell. The point of opening statements is basically to introduce jurors to the main thrust of a particular argument while providing both an overview of the case and the merits of the case. Counsel will also lay out the legal issues jurors will need to consider, both in terms of their arguments and potentially the issues facing opposing counsel. In short, opening statements are kind of brief introduction to the trial proper. And we're going to rate the opening statements of the prosecution versus the defense, who are scoring the points, who are hitting the right notes, who are making proper use of audio-visual aids, who basically does a better job, who is more interesting, concise, accurate, on point. Also think of the Murdoch trial, the Chair Daybell trial, and Caitlin Armstrong in terms of opening statements. Opening statements shouldn't be shorter than 30 minutes, but they should also not be long-winded. They shouldn't be much longer than an hour. You also don't want to sort of bore your audience in the opening statements. You really want to kind of get them on board. Now, we're going to do a quick overview of the Karen Read case, and we're going to deal with some of the most important evidence in this quick primer prior to trial starting today. If you're interested in the Karen Read case and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're enjoying this analysis, please like, share, leave a comment. You can also hit the thanks button. It is the end of the month. And let's get started. Okay, so what is the Karen Read case about? Well, the 44-year-old is accused of striking her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her SUV outside her home in Canton on January 29, 2022. Now, it was actually early in the morning, so it was early Saturday morning, and that's quite important because they were out on a Friday night. Does that have any relevance to all of this? Well, it does, because they were out drinking. Does intoxication have any relevance to this? I think it does. Now, prosecutors allege that Reed left O'Keefe to die in a blizzard following a night of drinking. There you have it. But lawyers for the Mansfield woman say she was framed in a widespread cover-up among law enforcement and witnesses. And I must say, I'm confused. So you say she's framed. So who's the original target here? Was John O'Keefe the target, or is Karen Read the target, or are they both targets? And if one is the target, a target for what? Why is this person a threat, and why is this person why does someone need to get rid of that person? And also, why would police want to frame Karen Read? What do they have against her? And so one aspect that makes this case certainly strange and unusual is its notoriety. According to an article, I think it's from Mail Online, no, it's Boston.com, Reed's case gained notoriety after Turtle Boy blogger Aidan Kearney adopted the defense team's cover-up allegations and defended Reed throughout hundreds of blog posts. This is an interesting, if troubling, sideshow to this trial. It shows the extent to which social media can influence a trial. What do you think? Should social media be allowed to influence it? In your opinion, should the trial of a particular case, should it be held in the court of public opinion or should it be held in court? Can a court be trusted with the whole sort of thing of, testing evidence and having arguments, or do you think you should rather have a trial on social media? What do you think? By the way, Kearney has been allowed to attend trial by the judge. According to Boston.com, Kearney later faced criminal charges after he was accused of intimidating witnesses in Reed's case. And prosecutors alleged Reed leaked non-public information to the controversial blogger over the course of several months. Prosecutors and defense attorneys have both agreed not to mention him or his pending charges during Reed's trial, though the judge said that the subject will become fair game if Kearney is mentioned spontaneously in witnesses' testimony. That brings us to the timeline. I'm going to deal with that briefly. As I say, all of this happened very early on a Saturday morning, obviously very cold. It was sort of blizzard conditions. And so what happened was shortly after midnight, and this is according to CBS News' timeline, Karen Reed, John O'Keefe, and a group of friends went to the Waterfall Bar and Grill in Canton on the night of January 28th, a Friday. According to prosecutors, Reed consumed several alcoholic beverages. And so the question here is, was she intoxicated? Did she know what she was doing? Reed drove O'Keefe to the home of Boston police officer Brian Albert, so that's quite an important point. Reed was driving, not John. And that is where police say people from the bar were meeting back up. At 1 a.m., court documents revealed that in the weeks before and even the hours leading up to the night out, text messages between Reed and O'Keefe as well as voicemail show a strained relationship. Investigators said that at around 1 a.m. on January 29th, the day of the incident, Reed allegedly left O'Keefe a voicemail that said, "You are a effing loser, F yourself, and John, I effing hate you." I think that is pretty important, don't you? 4 to 5 a.m. At 4:23 a.m., while heavy snow was falling, O'Keefe's niece called Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert's sister-in-law and a friend of O'Keefe. She said that Reed was distraught because O'Keefe had not come home and was not answering his cell phone. Now, this amount of time is certainly enough time for someone who may have been intoxicated to sober up. That's one potential explanation. I suppose you could also say they may have woken up and realized someone wasn't there. But it is quite a long period of time. Would you not realize the person's not home earlier on? Anyway, according to court documents, McCabe said she heard Reed screaming, "John didn't come home, we had a fight." Around 5 a.m., Reed called another woman whose husband was friends with O'Keefe. Prosecutors alleged that Reed said while they searched, "What if he's dead? What if a plow hit him? I don't remember anything from last night. We drank so much, I don't remember anything." So there you have her own words, in a way, potentially damning her. 5:07 a.m., Reed, McCabe, and the third woman went to look for O'Keefe. Prosecutors said Reed mentioned to the woman that she had a crack in her taillight and wondered if she could have hit O'Keefe. At 5:07 a.m., a surveillance camera at O'Keefe's house shows Reed's SUV coming extremely close to O'Keefe's SUV in the driveway. Now, I have got to wonder whether that's not an attempt to cover up, whether that's not guilty knowledge, or is that a sign of innocence? Prosecutors say no taillight pieces were found in O'Keefe's driveway. Reed's defense argues the vehicle did strike the SUV, breaking the taillight and providing an explanation for damage to the SUV. And now we deal with what I think is really the bottom line to this case, DNA evidence. And I do think this case all comes down to basically evidence. It all comes down to the rear brake lights. According to CBS News, prosecutors in the Karen Reed case say that they have DNA evidence recovered from a broken taillight that implicates Reed in the murder of police officer and boyfriend John O'Keefe. In court documents, prosecutors say that DNA recovered from a broken taillight matches O'Keefe's DNA and that the taillight is the same material from Karen Reed's car. They also found that broken taillight material in the victim's clothing. Human hair on Reed's car is still undergoing testing. In my opinion, this is a very simple case. The evidence is pretty overwhelming, but emotions, politics, and biases make it more complicated. We will see if facts can be trumped by emotions and strong feelings. You might say, I don't really think that this is a really interesting case, but what happens in this case may, in a way, tell you what is going to happen in America. Are people going to be sensible, or are they going to be emotional? Are people going to be rational, or are they going to be sort of tribal in a sense? And so I guess we're going to see whether facts can be trumped by emotions and strong feelings. It's happened before. It happened in the O.J. Simpson case, and it could happen here. Well, I guess we'll see. The trial today starts at 10 a.m., and so I hope to see you here for my live stream coverage. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.